Oh, hi everybody. My name is Gasali Adeyemo. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a fiber artist. And today I would like to introduce a tie-dye technique to everyone who's watching me this moment. Tie-dye is a very unique technique and it's very fun to do. And tie-dye is a very popular as well for young people and for elderly people who love to do tie-dye. So I like to break it into pieces. If you are sitting at home right now watching me, how do I make my own tie-dye? There's a lot of easy way to make your own tie-dye. It's not that difficult. The first thing I like to go to first is to make sure you have your cloth available, which is people say, oh, what kind of cloth fabric do you use? I use 100% cotton. And this one is called bandana. Fabric is 22 by 22. If you don't have that, you can even have a t-shirt. If you love to wear your own tie-dye t-shirt. T-shirt is one of the unique to tie-dye with, but mainly both of the fabric and t-shirt have to be 100% cotton before you begin with. So how do you begin with? We tie them, and also I'm gonna lay down also what kind of food coloring you can use without even left your house when you want to dye your own tie-dye. And it's very simple. And I love tie-dye, but myself, you can see right now, if I was on the screen, you can see what I was wearing, my tie-dye shirt. And it have a polka dot, of course, and then I start with a white fabric. So how do I go this far? Tie-dye, when I say it, you need a little muscle. The more you tie it very tight, because if you don't tie it very tight, when you put it in the dye vat or in the coloring food, the color is gonna find a way to go in where you tie it. And people say, oh, what kind of tools do you use? I use a grass to tie with. Even right here, you can see one I already tied with the grass right here in my hand. Also, you can use a rubber band after you fold your technique. So how do I begin with my tie-dye? When I introduce in the class, before even I show the student the bandana here, I begin with piece of paper. That is what I fold into tie-dye technique to let people see when they get home or when they want to do it again, they know how the fold was formed before they do it. So let me go back to the coloring food. If you are home right now, as I said earlier, if your parent was cooking, or I mean, onion is something, onion right here, we cook with all the time. Everybody always have them in their kitchen. So the skin of the onion, something you can collect and put them in a little compost. People make compost in the kitchen and then you can soak them in the water like a compost. So after it sit for 5 days, you can put the white vinegar or you can just use only ordinary cold water. And when you do your tie-dye, tie it ready, as many as onion skin, it can be red onion, it can be white or white onion, those both kind. Keep collect, recycle or compost the different color of onion and soak them in the water. So you can even make your own color that you don't have to go to any store and buy any coloring food to use. Or if you like to use a beet, the beet is a food we eat. We cook it, it look like a red. You can use that also as a coloring food to color your tie-dye. The t-shirt I was showing you earlier, you can see after you tie it around, you see where the white polka dot was? He came from this t-shirt, the same right here in my hand. and so on and so on and so on. So I'm gonna do a little quick demo of the tie-dye I would like to introduce. It's sheet of paper right here. As I said earlier, this is the bandana you can use, or you can use a t-shirt. Tie-dye is a very simple process. Right now I'm folding it straight because I like to give this to my students who are watching me right now. Anybody want to try this? So when you fold it, because when my students get home, their parent has them like, oh, how do you fold this beautiful tie-dye shade? So right now I fold it front and I fold it back. Then it look like straight narrow paper. So how do I begin it? I just go from here like a triangle, and the triangle make it look like a aeroplane, like a arrow. You can see how it's so sharp, like a head of fish. So when I fold it front toward the left, then I flip the whole paper towards me. Then I go again to another triangle to the back. Then I go again to the front. Then I go again to the back. Then I go again to the front. Then I go again to the back. So the leftover, then you just kind of like that. It's done. So how do you go from here? The same thing look like a piece of paper. It look like your bandana. The same paper. So when I fold it, this is the fabric, and the same thing look like piece of paper. What I do next, I just take my grass. If you have a rubber band, that work perfect too. The reason why I left this much out, because I'm gonna come back to that little piece I left out. So when I trying to wrap it now, when I was wrap it very tight, because I don't want the color to get into my resist where I want the design to come out beautiful. So the leftover I was showing to you earlier is right here. Then I bring it in to my space I create in between my finger. That is a first knot. Then you have to knot it twice. And also make sure you have your scissors ready. And then you cut the leftover. So this is done. So when you press it, it look like it look like a rock, very hard. But if you press it, if it look very squishy, then you kind of feeling like the color, or whatever color you use, it could be blue, it could be red, it could be purple, it's gonna bleed in because it was not tied very well. Tie-dye is very fun. I call tie-dye Christmas present, because when I teach in school, the kid like, oh my God, how do I do my tie-dye when I get home? That is what I explained from beginning. You can make your own tie-dye. Just go to any craft store in town, Abilabi. You can go to Johan. You can go to Michael's. You can even go to Target. They sell a lot of bandana, but it doesn't have to be white bandana. It could be red. It could be blue bandana. You can use any color to tie with, depend the color you like. So mostly I work with the white because I dye it to the indigo, blue and white. So that's why I said tie-dye is like a Christmas present. Students, they can't wait. But when you dye it, you cannot remove it immediately. You have to let it dry, like truly dry, because the students sometimes they can't wait. They say, oh, can we open it right now? I say you have to wait, because if you try to open it, it's gonna bleed into the design, into your resist where you want to see your beautiful design. It's one of them right now in my hand. I dye it to the blue from the same tie. But what I did, I just looking for where I knot it, and then if I can't find it, I just very careful to look for the knot. Then I cut it with the scissors. Then I remove my grass. So as I said, again, you don't know what you're gonna see. It's like a Christmas present, like Santa brought you when you sleep overnight. So, and this is the beauty. You can see my fold, how it turned out to be. If you fold the t-shirt, I was showing you earlier, if you fold bandana, any kind of fabric, they're gonna work the same, but it just have to be 100% cotton before it can absorb the dye very well, the way you want. And as I said, coloring food is very easy to make. Onion, or you can use a beet. You can collect any native plant and soak it. But the only thing I might be able to remind you, if your parent, if you have a white vinegar in the house, just pour a little 2 tablespoons and let it sit like a fermentation, and dip your tie-dye in it and let it sit for 20 or 10 minutes and take it out and put it again. The more you dip it, the more you take it out, the more it absorbs more color layer by layer, and it becomes solid and solid color. Thank you so much.